What is going on, everyone? I have a brand new video for you guys today, and today's more of a laid-back kind of video. I'm going to be going through and showing you guys my whole Toy Story collection. Now, I have so many toys from Toy Story, and now this isn't all of them, but these are my main definitive one. I've been putting this collection together since the first one came out, and I have like a whole shelf dedicated to just them. But I wanted to share this collection with you guys and share everything within it. I want you guys to enjoy it, and of course, guys, feel special that this is a big part of my life. And look out for a couple more Toy Story videos and Pixar videos coming out for later this week with the release of Toy Story 4. My review will also be pointed up in the corner or down below, so make sure to hit those links so you guys can check out my thoughts on Toy Story 4. And of course, go over to See How Much Fun Films on how you guys can see films early. And if you're new here, hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, without further ado, let's get into my Toy Story collection. Oh, starting with this, I gotta start with the little green alien men. Now, I have probably thousands of these guys overall, but these are actually the signature collection editions. These are the life-size replicas of them. They are available at Target. Now, I didn't know there was life-size replicas of them until just probably a couple months ago, and I was so on board with buying these. There's a couple life-size replicas they have. They have one of Rex, they have Mr. Potato Head, they have Mr. Prickle Pants. Now, I don't have all of them. I only have the Bo Peep, these guys, and the Green Army Men. They do have a Buzz and Woody, a Jessie, a Bullseye that eventually maybe I will buy that come in the signature packaging that they should be available in, which you guys will see the Bo Peep one because I still have her in it. It's kind of hard for me to buckle down and pull her out because she's so rare, but I really like that one. Maybe I'm kind of like Al's Toy Barn in that sense, but these are some of my favorite ones, and I just love having the Green Army Men all out to play and be with their father and mother, Mr. Potato Head, which, let's go over to them. So like I said, these are my original Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head that I've had since I was probably like 4 years old. Of course, we have the Mrs. There are some smudges all over her. She is missing the flower on her head, but this is my Mrs. Potato Head, and this is my Mr. Potato Head. They've been through a lot, but they've been through a lot together, and damn, there goes his hat again. They are the mother and father to the little green alien men, as we've seen through all the movies, and they've always stuck together. On the topic of signature editions, I might as well show you guys this, the Bucket of Soldiers. This is 72 of them. There's 3 of them out over there with Sarge, of course, and I really like this. When you open it up, there's so many of them in here. Like, holy crap, like, look at all these guys. They even have the parachute ones in here, and, you know, I used to have, like, a little bucket full of them, but I've just always appreciated, like, the amount of detail that they go into this. And of course, this is one of the signature certificates of authenticity showing this. It shows John Lasseter's director on there. Not gonna get much on the controversy of him, but I really like that they kind of just went into detail on that, and all of them kind of have that certificate of authenticity. Speaking of signature collections, this is my Bo Peep. Let me get out of the camera and I'll just show you guys this for a little bit. This is my Bo Peep and her sheep. This just came out. This was for Toy Story 4. Josh Cooley has the signature edition in here. It has the little lamp in the corner. This is like the coolest thing I've ever found. This was super rare. I drove like probably almost 50 minutes away for this thing, but it was definitely worth it, and it was definitely worth the drive because I had to have this for my collection. Moving on forward, I do have a couple characters that were a part of my Toy Story collection from when I was younger, just for the fact that they might not have been in the film, but they were a part of my childhood because they were a part of my first toys. This toy is my cat. I've had this cat since I was probably like 2 years old, and it's always been around since my childhood. He was always a big playful part of my childhood, as of playing with the toys. And of course, you also have Mickey Mouse over here. This is one of the first Mickey Mouse. This is one of the first Mickey Mouse pie-eyed versions. I always like the classic Mickeys, and I love this version. So both of these characters have always played around with my toys ever since I was younger. And of course, as a kid, toys seem to break and play along, but I still keep them along because I have such feelings for them. That's my Slinky right here. This is one of the Slinkies I have. This is my original Slinky. I like keeping him around even though he is really messed up, and I enjoy that. I also have this Rex that I have, this stuffed animal Rex I've had for a while. He's a little torn up, and the one that I have to thank my mom for stepping on and breaking is my RC. It's missing an eye, but this is an actual RC that drives around. If I put the batteries in, he'll go around and everything, and I really enjoy that. One of the things I have to actually admit and say thank you to Griffin Schiller, who is over at Men vs. Movies. He went to the Pixar Studios and actually got me the actual ball, and I needed this for my collection. This is awesome. Thanks to Griffin. Make sure to go subscribe to him down below. He does a ton of movie reviews and actually gets a lot of cool interviews over at the playlist, so you guys definitely go check those out. But this is kind of the rest of these next characters are kind of just the smaller background characters that I really liked. We got Mr. Mike here. This is actually the original Mr. Mike for Toy Story, and he doesn't work anymore, but he is still around partying it up with Wheezy, which we will get to later. We have my little Etch-a-Sketch. I've always had this Etch-a-Sketch ever since the Toy Story 2. And there's a couple other 3. These 3 are actually really hard to find. 2 of them, in fact, this guy, Rocky, right here, here. You can only get him at Toys R Us. Now, that is not a thing anymore, but he is one of my favorite actual that I've ever had. I've always wanted him to have kind of a little bit of a major part, but I've really always liked him, and the fact that they actually made a toy of him. And the next two are actually Burger King or McDonald's toys, but this is the only version they ever had of the robot, and I really, really like the robot and the design that they had on him. And the last one is, of course, Lenny. I don't know if you can get any other version of Lenny, but this one actually winds up and talks and moves, and it still works. Somehow. I don't know. Speaking of other side characters, of course, Toy Story 3 had a buttload of them, and we have to go through some of them. So right here's Dolly, the evil witch that Bonnie has. You move her down. We also have Mr. Pricklepants, portrayed perfectly by Timothy Dalton. You have Twitch right here, which I've always liked the bug character. I really wanted the action figure for him, but I can never find him for a very good price, so I'll stick with him. And you got Sparks the robot. I really like this action figure because he actually turns and moves, and even though it is a stuffed animal, this is really cool design that they had for him. You also have Trixie the dinosaur, the only version of Trixie I think they actually had. I wanted an actual plastic version of her like the movie, but still, I got Trixie in here. You got Buttercup, which has one of the funny moments in Toy Story 4. Like, I busted out laughing from Buttercup and a lot of the lines that he has in there. You got Chuckles the clown, which on here you has a little bit of a smirk working for him. You have the Peas in the Pod. Now, these are really funny characters, and actually looking back, I don't even think they were in Toy Story 4. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know down below if they were in it. And we have Chunk right here. This is one of the few action figure characters I actually got from Toy Story 3. He actually does switch back and forth, which is really cool in the way that he designs around. This is actually one of the coolest action figures I think they had from Toy Story 3. And also, speaking of cool ones, they had Stretch the octopus. I think Oprah played her? No, Whoopi Goldberg. I might be completely wrong. One of the two played her, but I really like Stretch. I think Stretch is a cool character, and so does Chunk. Of course, throughout the whole Toy Story saga, there are a lot of villains, and of course, we have one right behind here that's kind of been my background piece for a little bit. That is Zurg, and I love this Zurg figure. Now, I think there is a signature edition of him. If there is, I don't have him, but I did get this one at the Disney store for like 30 bucks, and I just like the way he moves around. His gun shoots, and it's really unique. But there's a couple other villains that we gotta talk about. Of course, we have Toy Story 2's Stinky Pete. Now, I really like Stinky Pete. I think this is actually the only version that you can get of him. He's like $1,000 now, the last time I checked, and overall, he's got the fat ass, he's got his whole thing. I really just like Stinky Pete, and the fact that I actually have him is like quite a miracle. And I also have Lotso, who does smell like strawberries, and I know there's actually quite a few different editions of him, but this is the original Disney store one that they had when Toy Story 3 came out. Again, smells like strawberries, and you can definitely get high off him. Don't do drugs, kids. Of course, speaking of other Toy Story side characters that we all know and love, I have my other Slinky right here. This one is actually a Slinky. This one you can pull around, has the nice little tail. I really like the Slinky. I like the design that they have on him and all the kind of quips and whatnot they had from him from the toys. Me to my own Ham. I've actually had like 5 different versions of Ham, but this is the life-size replica of him that I got off eBay. It doesn't have the cork, but it does still have a screw, and you can definitely still put some coins in him. So money, 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 money. Speaking of Ham, his loyal friend that he always sits around with is Rex. Now, I've loved Rex. I've been looking for a really good version of Rex, and I finally found one at not Toys R Us, Walmart. He's an exclusive there for the Toy Story 4 toys, so I finally got Rex. Rah, rah, rah. Speaking of other signature toys, you gotta get your own Wheezy. This is like, Wheezy, the plastic squeakable version, is super hard to find, but I was glad that I found him because he sits up there with Mr. Mike singing his tunes. And of course, I do have a new RC car. This one is actually bigger than the other one, but this one doesn't roll around. This one you just kind of drive around yourself with your hand. I really like RC. I think RC is one of the coolest designs, and he does have a small cameo in Toy Story 4, which I really loved. Also, speaking of RC, yes, I have the remote for the original toy. Now, speaking of Toy Story 4, before I get to my main official toys, who are kind of the big main characters of the whole Toy Story franchise, I gotta talk about some of the other minor characters that happen to come up in Toy Story 4. Now, I don't have them all yet. I'm kind of still waiting for some of the toys to come out because Gabby and Benson are the two that I'm still looking for, but I need actual good versions of them, not just the smaller miniature versions. But speaking of the new ones, we have Duke Kaboom right here, Canadian's greatest stuntman. He is awesome. I actually really like this. Comes with the bike, comes with everything from the movie, in fact. But this is Keanu Reeves' new character. I really like the design that they brought for Duke Kaboom, and he certainly steals all out of the show. And of course, you can see Forky behind me. This is the Forky that me and my mom made. You can actually check out that video right up there. That was a really fun video to make. But again, Duke Kaboom, really one of the coolest characters in the whole Toy Story franchise. We also do have Giggles McDimples, who I think is a little bit underrated. when it comes to all the new characters, and she sits on the shoulder of Bo Peep, and I really like Giggles McDimples. This is the only version they have of her, but I had to get her, and I like that it actually switches her face around because that was one of the coolest jokes kind of going throughout Toy Story 4. Speaking of Toy Story 4 characters that actually had a little bit of cameo from other Pixar shorts, you have Tinny Tin Tin. This is one of the first Pixar shorts ever, and the fact that they actually made a toy of him is awesome to its own belief, but this guy sits on my shelf protecting me every night. And two of my favorite characters, though, from Toy Story 4, I found them. It is Bunny and Ducky. Now, Bunny's actually a signature edition as well. The Ducky version, I'd actually only gotten Ducky, and then I found out there were signature editions and I didn't want to rebuy them, so I just bought Bunny as him. The cool thing about this is, though, so this guy actually talks. Look at him, he talks, woohoo, like that, and so does Bunny. Bunny's actually, like, literally, like, this is the life-size replica of him, of Jordan Peele's character from the movie, and he talks as well.
Sometimes, we don't even know why we argue. You have a kid? Like a kid?
And it's just funny how he talks. It's really, like, it's a really nice toy, and this is certainly one of my favorite ones from Toy Story 4. If not, these might be two of my favorite characters from the franchise now. Speaking of loyal characters from Toy Story, you got Jessie and Bullseye. I've had Bullseye for such a long time, but I never had a Jessie growing up, but I finally got one to, of course, add to the collection, and this is Jessie. I don't know if her string actually pulls. Let's find out. Oh, she does. See? Perfect! So I got both of them as well. I love the Bullseye, I love the Jessie. Of course, adding to Toy Story 4, you have Bo Peep and her sheep. Now, they don't actually have the sheep toy unless you buy that signature edition, but I got this from Toy Story Land to kind of add to just kind of go along with her. It's Billy, Gruff, and Goat. I'm probably completely wrong, but I think it's Billy, Gruff, Goat. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's their names. Don't kill me in the comments. Of course, I had to save the best for last, and these are my two original Toy Story toys. These were the two I first had. These are my original Buzz and Woody from Toy Story 2 or 1. I'm not 100% sure, but ever since I saw the film, I've always wanted these, and I have multiple versions of these, but these are the original versions I have. Totally beaten up, totally broken up, but they're still my toys. I mean, I've loved these toys forever. And Buzz, when I was younger, used to be my favorite character, but as I've grown up, Woody has easily become the next biggest character, but now I kind of just like them together. They are a peas in a pod, as you could say, and they are awesome. And yes, no, this Woody does not have a string anymore, but he is one of the original ones. These are both my original toys, and that is my Toy Story collection, guys. I love Toy Story. It's literally one of my favorite videos. This is like my favorite series. This is like the reason, like, I've been looking forward to doing a whole Toy Story segment on this channel, because Toy Story really has meant a lot to me throughout my whole life, and this is my collection. These are some of my collections. I have a lot more other things, but these are like the main points of the collection. So thank you guys so much for watching this. You guys are seriously all the best. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you guys are new here. Look out for a couple more Pixar videos later this week, and of course, until next time, stay classy.